Minister for PWD, ताका हांवें एश्युरन्स मागलेले त्या ब्रिजाक लागून एक्सिडेंट प्रोन झोन एट चिमेल थिंगासोर म्हाका एश्युरन्स मेळोंक ना ताका लागून म्हाका तेणें एश्युरन्स दिवचे.
PWD Minister ना मागीर sir discussion. Jennifer Mansur.
Speaker sir, I rise to support the demands and oppose the cut motion. I would like to speak on demand number 13, transport. Speaker sir, recently the Minister of Transport had mentioned that he is in talks with Ola and Uber. I would like to know if there's been any progress in this discussion and if it's implemented in Goa, and for what reason and who are going to be its key customers. On today's newspaper, on the Goan, the industries has extended their support in bringing in Ola and Uber to Goa because they have claimed that they are overcharging. But these are the same people who made a passionate plea to the government to not increase the daily wages of skilled and unskilled workers due to COVID. So I would like to ask the government, weren't our taxi drivers affected by COVID? During the pandemic, they had a major loss in business. How do you expect them to survive and live? Because they live on what they earn on a daily basis. The government can take the same compassionate stand towards these taxi drivers. A few months back, the government was in the process of installing taxi meters within a stipulated time. What was the purpose of asking them to install these meters when now the government is considering bringing in Ola and Uber? Now the government will say that the taxi drivers have not installed the meters and they are not listening. But I think we need to have a mechanism in place where they are made to install the meters. So in this, who has failed? The taxi drivers have failed, or have we failed in making them install the meters? Does the government have data on how many cab operators have not installed taxi meters? And for those who have installed the taxi meters, has the government reimbursed them to the tune of 11,000, which they promised to do so? I would also like to ask the Honorable Minister for Transport, if Ola and Uber is established in Goa, what will be their business model? Will the existing taxi drivers and their cabs from Goa be taken aboard, or will the company invest in its own taxis? What will be the charges? Because in metros, if you're considering how successful it is in metros, which it is not, and I will come to that later, but the prices in the metros vary as per the demand and availability in a particular area. How will this be determined in Goa? What will be their working hours and how much will they be paid? When Ola and Uber launched in the metros, they started off with a big bang by offering very lucrative incentives to its customers for rides. With the increasing business model and at that time the success, they had huge fundings which were coming in. And later on they realized that they couldn't pay that back, so they started charging the customers extra by introducing flexible pricing. Even on the driver front, Ola started to lose big, and the incentives which they were supposed to give the drivers were cut down drastically. An article in the recent Economic Times said it has fired about 1,400 of its employees, and their revenues have dipped to 95% in the last 2 months. So why do we want a failed business model in Goa? And just to bring to the notice of the House, they had a total cumulative loss of 17,453 crores. Speaker sir, tourism is not only about taxi drivers overcharging in Goa. They play comparatively a very small part in the ecosystem. If you go to see, everyone is overcharging, from restaurants to hotels to clubs to pubs, everyone is overcharging the customers. So why are we only targeting the taxi drivers? One must remember that the taxi drivers in Goa are very different from the metros. They make one single trip, like even if it's a drop to the airport, they go to the airport, they drop the customers and they come back empty. So one must also consider that they charge both ways because they don't have anyone to bring back on their return journey. Speaker sir, and this matter does not only involve the Transport Department, but also involves the Department of Tourism, which will also play a vital role in resolving this issue. After a very long time, we have a tourism minister who understands what Goa needs, and how to make it more vibrant. I think the government should formulate a business model which is sustainable over time in Goa by taking the taxi operators and cab drivers into consideration, which will help the locals and tourists alike. And Speaker Sir, we cannot conclude that tourism is affected only by these drivers in Goa. It's also lots of various other issues which come into place, which is the garbage menace on the beach, stray dogs, unattended cattle, and various other issues. And I think as of now, we have all ministers who are capable, from the Honorable CM to Tourism Minister, Home, Science and Technology, Animal Husbandry. All these issues will come into place, and I think the government should reconsider bringing in Ola and Uber. Thank you, Speaker Sir.
Speaker Sir, I stand here to support the cut motion and oppose the demands. Regarding demand number 13, transport. Speaker Sir, हे आमचे भुरग्यांक इश्कोलाच्या भुरग्यांक कोविडाचे पयले बादे आसगांव टील म्हापसा कदंबा बसीज आसले सर. आतां ते डिसकंटिन्यू केल्या. हांवें आमच्या चॅरमॅना कडेन ऑलरेडी उलयल्लें आहा, पूण जितले फावटी आमी थंयसर वयता ते म्हणटात शॉर्टेज ऑफ बसीज म्हणून. खरेंच शॉर्टेज ऑफ बसीज आहा काय आनी बसीज आहा पासून शॉर्टेज ऑफ बसीज आहा पासून जाल्यार वॉट स्टेप्स आर बींग टेकन बाय द गव्हर्मेंट टू सी दॅट वी वील गेट दीस बसीज ऑन रूट. तोहेच आमच्या लोकलांक आमचे गुडे वाया सोड्या टू म्हापसा ही एक बस पयली आसली कोविडाच्या पयलीं, ही 2 बस्यो आनी आमच्या वेल्ला काणका एक बस आसली, ह्यो डिसकंटिन्यू जाल्ली आहा. ह्यो मातशे बेग्याच्या बेग्यान आमच्या ट्रान्सपोर्ट मिनिस्टरान आमकां दिवच्यो म्हणून मागणी आमची. मागीर रिगार्डींग आमचे टॅक्सी ड्रायवर्स बाय जेनिफरान ऑनरेबल MLAन ऑलरेडी उलयल्लें आहा. रिगार्डींग वी हॅव टू लूक एट इट नाव. Our CM the other day spoke that they are not using the digital meter. जेन्ना कस्टमर खूब पावटी हॉटेलान रावता, हॉटेल ना जाल्यार हे आमचे एजंट असतात, तेच तांकां पॅकेज करून पयशे आपुणूच घेतात आनी कस्टमरांक काडून टॅक्सीन बसयतात. सो एट दॅट टायम दॅट डिजिटल मिटर डजंट कम, इज नॉट ऑफ एनी यूज. सेकंडली आमचे प्रीपेड कावंटर आहात आमच्या एअरपोर्टाचेर ना जाल्यार आमच्या रेल्वे स्टेशनाचेर. त्या ड्रायव्हरांक त्या तोहल्या टॅक्सी वाल्यांक मिटर ते कांय यूज करीत नात. सो दीस क्वेश्चन ऑल्सो इज टू बी सीन सर. आनी हे जे मिटर बसयल्यात इट इज अकॉर्डिंग टू द CC ऑफ द व्हेहिकल. पेट्रोल व्हेहिकल्स 4-seater charge different amount for the same route. Diesel vehicles 4-seaters charge different amount for the same route. मागीर म्हणटात टॅक्सीवाले तांकां ओवरचार्ज करतात, हे करतात. सो दीस हॅज टू बी सीन. तोच बाय जेनिफरान सांगला ते तोहे. जेन्ना आमचे टॅक्सीवाले अंजुना साकून आमचे एअरपोर्टार वयतात, एअरपोर्टार साकून कांय भाडी घेवन येनात, दे हॅव टू कम एम्प्टी हँडेड. So this has to be seen with open mind. मागीर आमी म्हणटात आमचे 2 नये एग्रिगेटर्स येतात म्हणून, ओला आनी उबर. पूण आय थिंक ह्या आमचे टॅक्सी ड्रायव्हर्स आर द बेस्ट एम्बेसेडर्स एंड गायड्स हू कॅन टेक कस्टमर्स, आर ट्युरिस्ट हू कम टू गोवा. आमचे गोंयचे प्लेसीस दे कॅन एक्ट एज गायड्स एज वेल एज आमचे गोंयां आनी फॉवर्ड व्हरपाक म्हणल्यार तांकां आनी प्रोमोट करपाक आमचे गोंयकारूच तितून बेस्ट आसतले सर. आमकां कळोंक जाय हे कदंबा बसीज, हे आमचे AC कदंबा बसीज घातलेले आहा फ्रॉम एअरपोर्ट टू डिफरंट प्लेसीस लायक अंजुना, कलंगूट. तेंची एवरेज कितले आसता, कितले कस्टमर तितून ऑन एवरेज दे ऑक्युपाय दोज द Kadamba buses per trip, how many customers are there on an average from the time of his inception till date. मागीर आमचे GTDCन वुमन्स टॅक्सी म्हणून घातलेले आहा, दॅट ऑल्सो इज अ टोटल फेलियर. हॉप ऑन हॉप ऑफ बसीस घातलेल्यो, टोटल कॅनॉट बी सीन ओनली. गोवा मायल्स अनादर फेलियर. आनी वॉट एल्स सर, आनी जेन्ना आमी कोविडांतल्यान भायर सरतालीं आनी इलेक्शनाच्या टायमार जेन्ना टॅक्सी हाडल्यो, महाराष्ट्रांतल्यान हाडल्यो सर, म्हाका दिसता त्या टायमार आमच्या टॅक्सीवाल्यांक ती यूज करून आमच्या टॅक्सी ड्रायव्हरांक हे काम इलेक्शनाच्या टायमार महाराष्ट्रांतल्यान त्यो इनोवा आनी गाडयो येयल्ल्यो तेन्ना आमच्या टॅक्सी ड्रायव्हरांक कन्सिडर करूंक जाय आसलें, तेंय करूंक ना. More than I heard 10 crores was spent on it. Please correct me if I am wrong. हेच कितले पयशे मोडल्यात ते टॅक्सींचेर आमच्या गोंयच्या भावांक उपकाराक पडटा आसले. आनी हेय टॅक्सी जे महाराष्ट्रांतल्यान हाडलेले ते खूंय मिटर यूज करताले सर, दॅट ऑल्सो हॅज टू बी सीन. रिगार्डींग आमचे इंडस्ट्रीज, let me talk about only small scale industries. सर, हे जे स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज आहा ते आमच्या गोंयां, आमच्या इंडस्ट्रियल इस्टेटान आमचे गोंयकार चलयतात. आनी खूब हे इंडस्ट्रीज कोविडाक लागून बंद पडलेली आहा. सो सरकारान कितें स्टेप्स घेतलेले आहा टू रिवायव दीज स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज which have shut down due to COVID. आनी एक नोदरे काडूंक सोदता आमच्या मिनिस्टराचे, हे आमचे कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट लेबरर्स आहा, भोव करून आमचे गोंयकार आहा, तांकां वेगळ्याच्या वेगळ्यान हे स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीन पर्मनंट करचे, गोंयकार तरी आहा तांकां, सो दॅट दे गेट जॉब सेक्युरिटी. रिगार्डींग डिमांड नंबर 31, पंचायत. आता आमच्या पंचायतींनी ॲडमिनिस्ट्रेटर म्हणून एकटो मनीस बसयल्लो आहा. एवरी पंचायत ऑन द पब्लीक नोटीस बोर्ड हॅज टू बी, यू हॅव टू स्पेसिफाय वॉट इज हीज रोल. पीपल डोंट नो टील नाव वॉट इज द रोल ऑफ दीस ॲडमिनिस्ट्रेटर हू इज सिटींग देर. आनी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट, आमचे बजट जेन्ना आमी पंचायतीन मांडटात तेका स्पेसिफायड अमावंट फॉर डिझास्टर मॅनेजमेंट म्हणून घालूंकूच जाय. नाजाल्यार एवरी टायम वी हॅव टू, द पंचायत्स हॅव टू गो हंटींग फॉर मनी. डिझास्टर मॅनेजमेंट एक थोडोसो बजट थंयसर करूंकूच जाय, थोडोच म्हटल्यार एक मिनिमम 1 lakh एन अबाव. सर, 7 मेंबर 5 मेंबर पंचायती ज्यो C कॅटेगरीन येतात तांकां फंड एलोकेशन गव्हर्मेंटाचें मातशें सुबेज वाडोवपाक जाय. आनी पयले फावटी आमकां सेंटर, फ्रॉम द सेंटर पंचायतींक, हांव सरपंच आसलें पयले फावटी 14 फायनान्स आनी 15 फायनान्स म्हणून येयले. हांव सेंट्रल गव्हर्मेंटाचें चडांत चड देव बरें करूं म्हणटा. फर्स्ट टायम वी कूड वर्क वीथ सम अमावंट, अदरवायज वी ऑलवेज हॅड टू आस्क फ्रॉम MLA, मिनिस्टर एंड ऑल दीस थिंग्स. बट 14 फायनान्साचे खूब पंचायतींनी अजुनूय पयशे यूज करूंक ना सर, ते फंड्स थंयसरूच पडलेले आहा. सो तुमच्या स्वयंपूर्ण मित्र नाल्यार कोण कन्सर्न ऑफिशियल्स आहा तांकां सांगपाचें गरज आहा, हे पंचायतींनी वेगळ्याचे वेगळ्यान फंड यूज करचे म्हणून. आय नो यू ऑल आर सेंडींग कॉन्स्टंट रिमाइंडर्स, बट डोंट लेट दॅट फंड गो अवे फ्रॉम दोज पंचायत्स. सर, हे गार्बेज मॅनेजमेंट, गार्बेजीक लागून फंड येता तो सरकाराचो ओन्ली 5 lakhs इन अ इयर. आमचीच पंचायत 7 मेंबर पंचायत, आमकां गार्बेजीक अरावंड 2.5 लाख म्हयन्याकूच पडटा कलेक्शन, डोर टू डोर कलेक्शन. सो दीस 5 lakhs इज अ लिटल मिगर. हांव जाणा खूब पंचायती अजून यूज करिना, पूण हो फंड मातशें रेज करूंक जातालें, नाल्यार वी फायंड दॅट फंड अ लिटल टू लेस. पूण हे वाडोवपाची गरज आहा, कित्याक मिनिमम तो कॉन्ट्रॅक्टर जो चार्ज करता तो 2 lakh, 2.5 lakh. I used to pay 2 lakhs to 2,50,000 per month to collect my small village, Parra village garbage. ते 5 लाख पावत ना. सर, तोहेच 50 लाख आमच्या सीएमान गोवा लिबरेशन 60th इयर सेलिब्रेशन एक पंचायतीक दिल्ले आहा, तेकाय देव बरें करूं म्हणटा. पूण हे 50 लाख जे दिल्ले आहा ते अजूनय तेजे प्रोसेसूच जायना. सो तुमचे कन्सर्न ऑफिशियल्सांक मातशे पंचायतीक भोर घालून हे जे पंचायतींनी फायल्यो घातलेल्यो आहा BDO लेवल ते वेग्याच्या वेग्यान पास करचे म्हणून आमची मागणी. मागीर कॅटल पावंड आमकां हायकोर्टान एवरी पंचायत हॅज बीन आस्क्ड टू हॅव देयर ओन कॅटल पावंड्स, बट नॉट फिजिबल सर. ते कॅटल शेड घालपाची गरज आहा, तेन्नाच हे कॅटल मॅनन्स म्हणटा ते काबार जातले. शेड घालून एक पंचायत नाजाल्यार तालुका वायज कितें तरी शेड आसूंक जाय. आनी नाजाल्यार ते आमचे गौशाळा आसता ते दे आर टेलिंग अस that we have to pay 750. It was some 6 months or 1 year before, 750 rupees per cow to just lift it. And मागीर दिसाचे दिसा तेका पयशे फारीक करूंक जाय. Those small panchayats, C category panchayats, they cannot afford all these things. So I'm sure our panchayat minister will look into it. Regarding cooperation, आमचे खूब गांवांनी हे cooperative societies आहा. आणि दिसा गव्हर्मेंट डजंट हॅव एनी होल्ड ओवर देम. ते आपले रेट ऑफ इंट्रस्ट FDचेर वाडयतात आनी अ नॉर्मल पर्सन, ले पर्सन गेट्स एट्रॅक्टेड टू इट अँड डिपॉझिट्स देअर हार्ड अर्न मनी इन दोज बँक्स. पूण जेन्ना लँडींग येता, जेन्ना ते दोज कॉपरेटीव बँक्स दे गीव देअर मनी, आय मीन गीव लोन्स, सरकारान तेजेर मातशें काळजी घेवंक जाय की दे ऑल्सो फॉलो द नॉर्म्स वीच आर फॉलोड बाय आर नॅशनलायज्ड बँक्स, सो दॅट आमचे हार्ड अर्न मनी ऑफ दीस ले पीपल डू नॉट गो इन वेन. थँक्यू सर.
Norde? Yes, Uriah Lima.
Speaker sir, I rise to support the cut motion and oppose the demands. Speaker sir, with regards to transport demand number 13, I would like to highlight and say that the government has failed to collect and earn revenue from coal transportation through the state. I am referring to an LAQ reply in which the revenue earned for the year from 2010 to 2011 onwards. And what I find is there are figures that are shocking. In the year 2014-15, the collection, the revenue earned from coal transportation was 221 crores. In the year 2019-20, it is shocking to see that this is only 46.80 lakhs. Speaker sir, I would like to know whether the government has given any relaxation or for this coal transportation. Speaker sir, I demand that the Honorable Minister provides details of outstanding dues of this cess tax. Speaker sir, with regards to reply,
This issue is lying in the High Court. They have contested us collecting cess. The argument is, after GST has come, all the cesses have been subsumed in GST. So there is a dispute, it's going on in the High Court.
No, Speaker sir, I would also like to tell the Honorable Minister that in the reply, it says that the Transport Department relies on transportation data from MPT. So there is loss of revenue to the state. Why can't the department come with a mechanism of their own to monitor this? Speaker sir, with regards to the government has failed to provide these effective and affordable public transport services. I would like to give you an instance in my constituency. Just before the elections, there were 2 Kadamba buses plying from a route from Shimplyar, Veroda in Kunkulim constituency. And just before, after the election was over, these buses disappeared. So, Speaker sir, ani ek motta prashna jo amcha in my constituency that I am facing was regards to the Kunkolim bus stop. Now, this bus stop received the award as being one of the best bus stops in the country in the year 2009-10. Today, the condition of this bus stop, it is in a dilapidated condition. Aaj Jenna Ami follow-up kele, and there was a tender that was moved of around 24 lakhs by the PWD department for the replacement of roof and sheets. But 3 times because of the old GSR, this or tender zalna. Aaj te joilyan talpotri galo poda. Ani itle maga disa it is like it is a shame because je bus stop jaka itle award medal. It was one of the best bus stops. Tinga toilet je gelar it is all overflowing, Speaker sir. And one of the main points I would like to highlight to the Honorable Minister is je bus tinga ayat hai. They pose great danger to the safety of children. They don't come inside the bus stop. I would request the Honorable Minister to look into it. It is a very serious issue because of the issue of lives of dangers of children. And if now you all maintain it, if possible, we are ready to take it in the municipality to maintain it, Speaker sir. But please make sure that this is maintained. With regards to the taxi operators, the black and yellow and the tourist taxi operators, I think several of our members will speak in detail. I'll be very brief. As Honorable Member Jennifer Monserrat has said that it is a failed model of Ola and Uber. And the taxi business is the only business in Goa that depends on, that is almost 100% locals. I think so that app-based muam korpak sotta. I think you all need to have a dialogue, a proper dialogue with our Goan brothers, considering the size of our state. Our state is very small and the limitation of business is also there. Je taxi driver hai, tengele 2-3 gaadi hai. How many cars and how much is the amount of tourists is going to come in if this business is also going to be mining atras sale. Aaj mining atras da namka maga dista itle gorib loga atras sale and ye bawache tumi tenka apoitle. I'm sure you will call them for a dialogue and protect their interest as well. Speaker sir, with regards to industries, we need to promote more vertical industries estates because these need to be set up to harness the potential of young entrepreneurs. Jai Magadista, if given an opportunity, because when you go into horizontal plots, due to scarcity of land, and all over the state and in the country, these vertical industrial estates need to be promoted. You all can give these premises on rent and whatever on lease, but these things need to be promoted. One most important, Speaker sir, question coming on the Kunkolim industrial estate. Jai Makadista, this industrial estate, I agree, was bought during the tenure of the Congress time. Jenna, today this is become like a big curse rather than a blessing. Inga, the amount of these industries, the amount of pollution that is going on in these industries is tremendous, Speaker sir. The villages by our Honorable Kepe MLA is also here. Even his village is close by to Kepe and Ambaulim is also affected. Speaker sir, this industry, Kunkolim industry today ranks amongst the most polluted industries in the country. And why this curse on Kunkolkars? Speaker sir, there is also a major cause of concern because of several cases. Patients, they have got cases of cancer, asthma, thyroid. In fact, Speaker sir, I would like to place a report that is tabled by NERI on one particular industry called Nicomet Industries, wherein it is said that as an immediate measure, Nicomet Industries should stop dumping of hazardous waste in their premises, make all such disposal in a designated TSDF and carry out a source of remediation by excavating soil and dispose the same to designated TDSF. I wonder how these industries get permission. Vedanta chi ek thinga Speaker sir ek industry hata. Ani thinga itle dump aha जो dump म्हाका दिसता through so many years, it is just lying ideal there. How these industries get these permissions, because and why do people have to suffer? Je म्हाका दिसता there is large scale pumping of wastewater into borewells. And the borewell jenna udo thing industrial sota ye fish mila plant hai dusre sagle. When they leave this, it goes into neighboring cafe and think sheta pavta thing Ambawli gawan pawn tinga look board mata speaker sir. I demand speaker sir, because I have an LAQ which says that 65 industries don't have consent to operate, and most of these industries don't have fire permissions. Alcoholaचे इतलो unit है तांको fire permission नाय. I request and demand from the Honorable Minister joint inspection on these industries. Speaker sir, with regards to the disposal of these thousands of waste, Tinga, there is thousands of tons of waste that is toxic for and hazardous for so many years. This, without this waste moving out, because sir, new industry permission तुम्ही दिवपा म्हाका दिसता तेजेर एक बंदी घालपाक जाय, कित्याक लोकां त्रास जाता, बारीक लोकां त्रास जाता, थिंगा वास येता, इतलें pollution जाता, air pollution जाता, उदकाचो pollution जाता. Speaker sir, with regards to Panchayat, I'll be very brief. Demand number 31. What I have observed is, ever since Jenna ye Zilla member mu Jenna concept zalo, I think honorable member was there at that time as well. At that time, they were given, every time people say that you all will empower them. But till today, these Zilla Parishad members are not empowered. And I feel, Speaker sir, that you all should come to some come with a very clear policy, because whenever their elections come, they are promised, they come, they meet the Chief Minister, meet the Panchayat Minister. After that, there is no follow. Speaker sir, with regards to Speaker sir, don't mean that this
Yes, okay.
Speaker sir, with regards to Gram Sabha, ata jenna Gram Sabha ata amgere Panchayatin, they are the Sarpanchis and the secretaries should be hold responsible for holding this. Several places here Gram Sabha jaina, ani lok my board gata, and they go to the BDO with their complaints, and I think there should be some streamlining with this effect as well. Panchayati electionaचे हांव उलयना, सकाळ चर्चा जाल्या the failure of this government to have this democratic right. Speaker sir, with regards to water resources department, जे आमचे माननीय मंत्री आहात, he is a senior minister, and जे मादयचे जे म्हाका दिसता which is our lifeline, we have failed somehow. But I'm quite sure that under his dynamic leadership, we expect some changes. I have got some answers, LAQ, stating that the government has failed to build dams along Madai. आणि एकूय ह्या तिल्लारी प्रोजेक्ट 3 वर्सां जालीं ह्या हावजान जे गाजता की बाबा हेजें कंप्लिशन जातलें म्हणून, हेंय म्हाका दिसता हूंय ना हूंय तुवें करपाक जाय. One very important issue, Speaker sir, in regards to encroachments on WRD land. I will take the Honorable Minister to my constituency. Inga sarke full scale encroachment zala. Encroachment acher crusher cholta illegally. Ya munis aaj itle operate kotay openly. I would bring that to the notice of the Honorable Minister, and I request that he would take action into the same. In WRD department, we have moved several proposals, because in regards to my villages in Chandor, Makazana and Girdolim, and I am sure that these have a lot of public importance, and that the Honorable WRD Minister would act. Last, Speaker sir, speaking on cooperation demand number 71, Sanjeevani was bought into the Agriculture Department under the ambit of the Agriculture Department from the Cooperation Department. हे स्वयंपूर्ण जालें काय कितें, तशेंच जे आमचे डिलायला लोबो ऑनरेबल मेंबर स्पोक अबाउट मारगांव अर्बन बैंक and म्हापसा अर्बन बैंक. So government should have some sort of agenda and some thinking so that these mistakes are not repeated again. Thank you, Speaker sir.
Yes. Carlos Pereira.
I'll speak on demand number 31, which is the panchayats. Honorable Speaker, the formula of grant to the panchayat should be transparent because there are certain panchayats which receive more money and some panchayats which receive less money. So then panchayatiche development korpak problem jata. Question is there. Magi magne karo jay. You have to go like a beggar to the director of panchayat. Te poishe yenat ani financial year kaba jata na poishe release kotat. Kai use karo jay na. So there should be a timetable and the formula te sangun ani lay down karo jay. What is your entitlement? What everything comes. Second, आमचे rate revise कोन्नात. ते old rate प्रमाणे grants allocation कोत्तात ते. For example, आता bush cutting. Old rate 5 वर्षाचे rate आसा थिंगा. आज ते rate गायल्या ते एक रस्तो पासून bush आहा ते cut करूं जायना. कित्याक 600 रुपये फारी केल्या दिसाक मनशाक cut करपाक ते पावना थिंगा. Then classification. This is something very important. Classification of the panchayats is in section 7 of the Panchayat Act. Panchayat A, B, C, D class panchayat asat. A class is 11 panch members. Magi B class 9 members. C class 7 and D class 5. Ye 4 ginsache classification aha zala. Kitya election reorganization of the wards kotat. तुमचे नंबर वाडले जाल्यार तुमचे पंचायत मेंबर वाडटले आनी मागीर पंचायत वाडली जाल्यार मागीर तुका रायट आहा रिअलायनमेंट करपाक इलेक्शना परत तुमी रिऑर्गनायजेशन केलें जाल्यार गरजे भायर तुमी फकत सेटींग करतात एक इंग उडोवपा दुसरे वाड्यान उडोवपा आनी मागीर रिजर्वेशन करता अशें लास्ट मिनट रिजर्वेशन करतात कसलें रिजर्वेशन ना म्हणटा बायले रिजर्वेशन ओबीसी रिजर्वेशन खंयचे लास्ट मिनट कित्याक करतात देर इज in Karnataka, in Maharashtra, rules asat. Ek party, the division of the wards complete zale, they notify kottat that this year, how will be the reservation. Rotations also le. Next election, what is the rotation? Then there is no confusion, no problem. It doesn't inconvenience anyone. Kon tayari kot zale electionak. Last minute, suddenly to reserve zalo. This is machination. This is not a democratic way of doing things. So I request the Honourable Minister to kindly look into this. If it was done in the past, let us not continue it in the future. So this is the first thing about Panchayat. Second, I want to speak on transport, which is demand number 13. Goa miles adle goya. It is not by you, but when Goa miles was brought, I would charge the government that there was undue favoritism to Frota Miles agreement because in that तुम्ही एक क्लॉज गायल्लो थिंगा आनी तो क्लॉज तुम लोकां दाखोयल ना लास्ट चे पॉइंट गायला हिंगा अग्रीमेंटा that for 18 months they will not pay anything. तुका रिजन आहा जाल्यार ते 18 months कांय फारी करपाची न्ही जाल्यार सगल्यांक सांगपाचें पयलें at the time of tender. Last minute you select him as the tenderer and then take a benefit dita. This is a clear corrupt act. This is undue favoritism. And why I say this is because in Frota Miles, one of the directors of Frota Miles was a son of the leader of a BJP MLA, ex-MLA. So this was being cooked up to give this tender to him on a platter. So I think that the government should immediately recover this money, if necessary from the officers who have made this change. Tumi board and pasun GTDC board and gail that is not right. So I feel that you have to recover this loss of revenue from the government. There are a lot of complaints about this Goa miles, and I will tell you complaints kesle yeतात. Booking kotat tenna, tui sangle जाल्यार हांव सांखळी वयत जाल्यार ते टॅक्सी Delilah Sangtali, and I will explain what is this thing about petrol and diesel. Swift Desire म्हणून गाडी आसा. एक पेट्रोल गाडी आसा 1199 cc and दुसरी डिझेलाची ती हायर cc. पेट्रोलाची हांवें डिझेल बूक हांवें स्विफ्ट डिझायर बूक केल्यार म्हाका पेट्रोल आयल्यार म्हाका 29 रुपीज पर किलोमिटर ती गाडी मेळ्ळी. बट इफ आय हॅव डन अ बुकींग आनी चुकून ते डिझल येयलें जाल्यार इट इज 43 रुपीज पर किलोमिटर. So think of it, one family books 2 cars, one car will pay at 29 rupees and my other car will pay at 43 rupees. What does the tourist think? आमी सगळे चोत्तात म्हणून. So I'm not trying to defend Goa Miles, but this is the manner in which your pricing has been done. Innova Krista, 7+1 seater is called a maxi cab. आणि कायदे प्रमाणे maxi cab मीटर बसोवपाक जायना. What about the one for 6+1? तेजेर मीटर आसा. So you see this kind of discrepancy which is happening with this meter. I think the Honourable Minister, if now that I brought his attention, you can look at this matter and try to have this resolved. The other issue is relating to the app-based taxis. I have myself utilized app-based taxis. I'm happy with app-based taxis, but the questions and problems which arise of app-based taxis is multiple. पहिले आमची ॲप बेस्ड टॅक्सी गोवा मायल्स पासून आसा. ते एक पाटी टॅक्सी गोज एज पर युअर ॲप, यू पे. हाऊ इज युअर मीटर वर्किंग? यू हॅव प्रीपेड टॅक्सीज वीच आर एट द एअरपोर्ट काउंटर. ते प्रीपेड म्हणटात. आर दोज रेट्स सर्टिफायड बाय द डिपार्टमेंट? अर्लियर दे वर, टुडे दे आर नॉट. इफ दे टेल यू फ्रॉम एअरपोर्ट टू पेंजीम बस स्टँड फिक्स रेट आसा. पणजे पावल तेन्ना तुवें सांगलें जाल्यार ड्रायव्हर मिरामार वचूंक जाय म्हूण तो मिटर चार्ज करतलो, रेट वाडयतलो. इफ यू से दॅट टू मिरामार, ऑफकोर्स यू वील बी चार्ज डायरेक्टली देर. बट नाव द क्वेश्चन इज दीस: इफ द रूल इज एवरी टॅक्सी हॅज टू यूज अ मीटर, how do you collect a fixed amount there and what is the meter doing? You are going to say that other taxis are not using meter. What are these taxis doing? Then app-based taxi हाडले जाल्यार हे सरकारान इतले कोटींनी पयशे मोडले ते फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ इन्स्टॉलिंग टॅक्सी मीटर, ते बुडून गेले. So what is going to be the fate of these taxis and the money which the government has paid? Surge pricing म्हण एक आसा. खूंय सर्च प्रायसींग टायप केल्यार हे इन्फॉर्मेशन येता इंटरनेटाचेर. टॅक्सीज, दीज ॲप बेस्ड टॅक्सीज आर फ्लिसींग पीपल. चोत्तात लोकांक. दे आर चार्जिंग अप टू 5 times the rate. How will you control this? Because this is all what you have to sit and work out. In small cities, like even you go to London, there are zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. So you know the rate outside the zone and how it moves. In Bombay, you have got areas where the taxi will operate. In some places, airport taxi म्हणून आसता, special airport taxis. In Goa, zone म्हणून काय ना, the whole state is like one city for them. But they will refuse to go across if I tell them go to Margao and just drop me. So therefore, now how are you going to work out this? Surge pricing. Demand asतना. I remember long back in the 1990s, आमी एरोप्लेन टिकट घेवपाक गेले जाल्यार लास्ट मिनिट गेल्यार 16 मेळटाली, कित्याक भरूं सोदताले. आज लास्ट मिनिट गेल्यार तूं टिकट डबल एंड ट्रिबल जाता. Surge pricing is coming also in the app for taxi. You are calling, I'm not going to, there are bad sheep in the taxi business. There are bad sheep. Even every profession there are bad sheep. Sometimes in the family also there is a bad sheep. But doesn't mean everyone is bad. You will have some rogue taxi drivers who will charge and overcharge and try to make a fast buck. But everyone won't be a rogue. Now what I want to tell here is, what is the safety which you will provide? These taxi meters have got a safety button. Button is a dummy button. There is nothing which works for a control room if anyone needs help. Anyone is getting cheated, or even a woman is being molested or attacked. Many people don't, and especially women, they complain kunnat. They will suffer in shame, but they may not come out and tell. Only very strong people come out and tell. So therefore, we need to protect people. We also need to keep this safe and moving. There is also one more thing which I was saying about this counter at the airport. Certain airports, आमचे India भितर, थोडे एअरपोर्टा प्रीपेडाचे आसा, कित्याक they have a fixed rate for approved fixed prepaid rate. And there is also another one for booking on a meter. Why don't you give everyone that facility at the counter? Let them choose. They have this or they have that. Rockade thing, I aikla. Don't go outside. Bahar nahi jao, cheating karega. So the impression being given inside is that fellow waiting is like a shark waiting to kill you. So this is very bad, and this is not the way that one should do it. Ola and Uber are being held by the commission, that is Central Consumer Protection Authority. Think notice kalya about this surge pricing and rates. My experience with Uber, I am going in a taxi from Dadar to the airport. Suddenly the taxi tells me midway, I can't take you. So this means he's going to offload me. My money is already paid for the trip. I can't refund the money. So now what happens? Uber has no even helpline in India. Uber has not even an office in India. On the other hand, Ola is sinking down. I don't think Goa government is going to tie up with them, with GTDC, and then try to say that, oh, we are going to provide you happy service to revive some dying company. My experience and your experiences will be, amche taxi driver asat they are very, just 2 minutes more, I'll finish. Their taxi driver ahat they have a long relationship with clients. Tumi aikla astole kitle party foreigner येतात थिंगा 20 वर्सां same taxi driver वतात. They have a one-to-one relationship. तो taxi driver आसा दारात थिंगा एअरपोर्टार तेक पिकअप करपा तेगे फॅमिली करपा सगळ्या दीस भर रात भर आसता तेंचे बरोबर. Will Ola Uber do this? What will be the rate? How will it work? They will never provide you this service. They will tell you per hour and all these kind of things will happen. Here there's a relationship built, and we are destroying these kinds of local self-employment and the local business. You will say that you will provide Ola for purpose of local business. But what we are seeing is most drivers are not locals. They don't even know where to go, and they don't even know the destinations. So industry is suffering. And I ask another question. Amdeka muntala, looter muntale. They are thieves, they are thugs, they are rogues. We use these words. Honorable Minister, I would request you, please surf the net. Make a mock exercise of booking a hotel. Try booking it 1 week in advance. You'll get it for 8,000 rupees. Same hotel 3 days before will be 12,000. On the day, it'll become 25,000. When they have what they call this fluctuating price, and on the day of the demand, it becomes high. This is as far as the hotels are concerned. Airlines are checked jata. Airlines, as the day comes closer and on the day of the flight, the 3,000, 4,000 rupees dynamic pricing muntat teka. On the day of the flight, to get the 3,000 20,000 jata. So these are the ways that we have to know how to balance the factors and be able to help the industry. We should not do this. There's another thing which I want to finally conclude. You remember that there was share a taxi. When we used to come from Margaon to Panjim, from Margaon taxi stand to Akshi. Akshi son magi ferry cross karun, Akshi son Ponje. Share a taxi. 500 jan bostale, oitale ami sogle. And tedna ₹2. So you can think of it. How it was nice, you interacted with people and all that. Now one man travels and one man pays the entire thing, the taxi is coming empty. And if at all, he takes you. So these are things I think we have to revive these old systems and keep the taxi business going. And I think the Honourable Minister will be in a position to consider these things. Oblige.
Next, just wait 1 minute. I'll turn to you, sir. After later.
My name has gone up.
He requested me.
Okay.
Speaker, sir, I rise to support the cart motion and oppose the demands. Speaker, sir, I had attended a function of senior citizens as a chief guest, and it was brought to my notice that the private bus conductors are not accepting half tickets for the senior citizens. Speaker, sir, this is injustice on their part. And I जेन्ना तांचे कडेन डिस्कशन केलें ते सांगपाक लागले एक टायमार नाविली हुई तांकां एक सिनियर सिटीजना सकयल लेगीत देंवयले because he refused to pay the ticket. So it was one of the incidents where the senior citizen had happened to tell me. So Speaker sir, Honorable Minister, हेजी एक दखल घेवन तांकां सिनियर सिटीजनाक ह्यो फॅसिलिटी दिवच्यो कित्याक जायत पाटी ते म्हणटाय आम सिनियर आम आटा सुणाव केन्ना आमकां बसीलोय चडयना आनी जायत पाटी आर्ग्युमेंट जाता आनी वेन दे आर ओल्ड they cannot have an argument with the conductors. So just Speaker sir and Minister, just take a note of this. Speaker sir, हांवें ऑनरेबल चॅरमॅनाकूय सांगिल्लें आनी नोंदीर हाडूंक वता एक बस आशिल्ली आमकां आगोंदा टू वास्को वचपाची आनी शिपयार्डाक आमगेले आगोंदाच्या खोला हे वाठांतले जायते भुरगे कामां वयताय आनी पयलीं बस आशिल्ली आनी आतां अकस्मात ती बस बंद जाली आनी काल वयता हांव चॅरमॅना मेळ्ळो आनी सांगलां मातशें हेजेर जाता तितलो बेगीन प्रयत्न करून ही आमकां एक बस मातशें फ्रॉम आगोंदा टू वास्को ही आमकां एक प्रोवायड करची. सिमिलर वे स्पीकर सर एक बस आशिल्ली गोकोर्डे टू पेंजेम आनी ही बस आमगेल्या थिंगा चडशे आमगेले ST भाव केटर करताली आनी तांकां गोकोर्डे म्हणटा एक गांव आसा भितर फ्रॉम द मेन हायवे NH17. सो तांकां सकाळच्यान सांजची बस आसताली आनी जेन्ना तांकां ऑलमोस्ट 4-5 किलोमिटर फ्रॉम दॅट इनसायड विलेज वॉर्ड टू द मेन रोड येवपाक तांकां त्रास जाता. सो स्पीकर सर ही एक बस आशिल्ली बिफोर द इलेक्शन्स आनी आफ्टर इलेक्शन जालीं की ना ते इलेक्शना फाटल्यान बसूय गायब जाली. सो म्हाका दिसता हेजेर मातशें आमगे ऑनरेबल ट्रान्सपोर्ट मिनिस्टरान मातशें दखल घेवन हेंकां लोकांक बिकॉज हे लोक आमगेले सारके त्रास करून वचपाचे आनी हेंकां भरपूर त्रास जाताय. स्पीकर सर जेन्ना टॅक्सीचेर येता हांव म्हगेलें पर्सनल कितें आतां आय हॅव गॉट अ पर्सनल टच विथ द टॅक्सी पीपल सिन्स आय हॅव अ हॉटेल इन बेनावली. हांव लास्ट 12 years आमगे टॅक्सी भावांक वळखता आनी आमगे ऑनरेबल मेंबरान सांगलें तेश कोन्न लास्ट 10-12 years जे पयलीं गॅस येताले 10 वर्सां लेगीत तेच टॅक्सीवाले सोदताय जायते पाटी आनी म्हाका दिसता जायते टॅक्सीवाल्यांनी वच जाण तेंचे बरा सिन्स आमगेले चडशे चार्टर्स तिने येताले चार्टर केटर टू चार्टर्स ट्युरिस्ट फ्रॉम रशिया आनी इंग्लंड. सो इतले तांकां एक जाणां भाशा लयत कोणा बट तो मोग आनी आपुरबाय त्या टॅक्सीवाल्यां बरी आहा ती दाखोवन दिता तांकां. म्हाका दिसता हांव जाणां बाणाले गांवांक टॅक्सीवाले ऑलमोस्ट 10-12 जाणां हांव जाणां टॅक्सीवाले लास्ट 7-8 years तेंगे रशियाक इंग्लंडाक वयलोय आनी तांकां थिंगलोय जॉब दिलो आहाय. सो हो दाखयता की आमगे टॅक्सीवाले आमगे टॅक्सी भाव आमी 1-2 नेगेटीव पॉयंट्स टॅक्सीवाल्यांक काडटाय बट ओवरऑल तरी तूं चोयलो म्हाका दिसता गोंयचे आमगेले टॅक्सी भाव आहाय ते एसली तुका हॉस्पिटॅलिटी आनी इतलो मोग म्हाका दिसता खंयच्याय देशांकूय मेळना स्टेटीकूय मेळपाना. आनी जेन्ना इवन कोवीड जाल्लें मुगेल्या हॉटेलांक म्हाका दिसता अरावंड अबावट 30-40 टॅक्सीज आनी पार्क केलो फॉर ऑलमोस्ट 1.5 year. तांकां कांय नाल्यान सरकारान तेजेर म्हाका दिसता व्हडलो विचार करूं ना आनी तांकां व्हडलो कांय बेनिफिटूय आसना. तेन्ना कितें हे टॅक्सीवाल्यांक लागून आमी इतलें समज नांव जोडटाय आनी इतलें तरी आमकां गोंयांक नांव मेळटा जाल्यार आमी जेन्ना ओला उबर हाडटा तेन्ना आमी एक चोवपा जाय आनी दिज आर लायक 100% आमगेले गोंयकार भाव. हांव तेंगेले कितें डिफेक्ट्स आनी पॉयंट्स हांव तेजे उलयना बट म्हाका दिसता ही एक धंदो आहा की आमगेल्या हे टॅक्सीचो हो 100% गोंयकार आहा तेंगेले घरां फामिल्यो चलताय. आनी पयलीं आमगेले ऑनरेबल मेंबरान सांगले ते भाशेन मॅडम जेनिफरान सांगले ते भाशेन तांकां एक ट्रीप मात जाल्यार इट इज जस्ट 1 way. सकाळ फूल तरी ते तरी एअरपोर्ट ड्रॉपाक गेले येता आसतना तरी तांकां मेळना. सो दे ट्राय टू गेट समथींग लिटल बीट मोर आनी हेजेरूय म्हाका दिसता आमगेल्या सरकारान विचार करचो आनी हे टॅक्सीवाल्यांक रस्त्यार हाडचे न्हू कित्याक जायत वर्सां टॅक्सीवाल्यांक गेलो प्रॉब्लम चलता आनी हांव तांकां पर्सनली वता आय हॅव अ रिलेशनशीप विथ देम आनी हे टॅक्सीवाल्यांक आमी जाता ते भाशेन सांबाळपाचो हो एक आमगेलो कायदो आनी एक हक असो की आमी त्या टॅक्सीवाल्यांक सांबाळया. स्पीकर सर जेन्ना आमगेल्या पंचायतीक आमगेल्या ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टरान सांगिल्लें की आमकां सगल्यांक शूड टेक हावज नंबर्स आनी असलो एक स्टेटमेंट केलो इफ एनीवन फावंड टू बी टेकिंग एनी ब्रायब फॉर द न्यू हावज नंबर्स आपण स्ट्रीक एक्शन घेतलो म्हूण बरो स्टेटमेंट जालो. बट म्हाका दिसता आज पासून तो सारको इम्प्लिमेंट जालो ना आनी हावज नंबर्स घेवपाकूय आमगेल्या लोकांक मेळना. हांव कित्याक सांगता आमगेल्या हांव जेन्ना येता हे वाठारान एक कॉन्स्टिट्युन्सीक जे गरीब लोक आहा चडसो मॅक्झिमम लायक वी हॅव बिलो पॉवर्टी लायन BPL सकयल लोक आसा तांकां आज पासून हावज नंबर मेळपाक भरपूर त्रास जाले आनी इन्स्ट्राकोचे सेक्रेटरी जे सेक्रेटरी हेका तांकां ते सिम्प्लिफाय कोन with all the papers, relevant papers. I'm not saying violate the laws, but whatever relevant documents can तांकां बेगीच्या बेगीन हावज नंबर दिवचे कित्याक तो हावज नंबर नासतना तांकां मुखार वचपा जायना आनी जायत्यो फॅसिलिटीक ते फाटीं पडटाय. स्पिकर हांव एक नोंदर हाडपाक शकता एक पंचायत आहा आमगेली बारशें पंचायतीक आनी आमगे एक स्टाफ थिंग काम करता हिज नेम इज लक्ष्मण वेलीप इज अ हँडिकॅप आनी आ पंचायत ऑन द फर्स्ट फ्लोर ताका उंचसून चोडटा आनी देंवता म्हळ्यार म्हाका दिसता हाफ एन आवर वयता तो इतलो ही कॅनॉट वॉक तेका पांय ना आनी द पंचायत इज ऑन द फर्स्ट फ्लोर सो आय फील दॅट द पंचायत शूड बी ऑल्सो फ्रेंडली डिसेबल फ्रेंडली खंयच तरी तांकां व्हीलचॅर वचपाचो जायत पंचायत हांव एक इन्स्टन्स सांगला आमगे बारशें पंचायतीचो तशें करून आनीकूय कडेन आसतले वर्किंग इन द पंचायत हँडिकॅप आसतले तांकां एक सुविधा दिवची कित्याक हे भुरग्यांक जेन्ना कामां चोडटा वयता आनी तेका साक चलोनूय जायना so he literally struggles to climb on the first floor of the building. Speaker sir, तेच भाशेन आमकां एक नोंदर हाडलें की आमकां पंचायत स्टाफ आहा 7th पे आमकां तांकां पयलीं दिल्ली आतां स्टॉप केल्या तेजेर एक मातशें म्हाका दिसता सरकारान विचार करचो आनी तो इम्प्लिमेंट करचो. मोठो आनी एक प्रश्न आहा स्पिकर सर की आमगे पंचायतीक कॉमन केडर केल्ले आनी एक आमगे एक पंचायती एस स्टाफ आहा 25 वर्स म्हळ्यार एकूच पंचायती आहा 25 वर्सां तो थिंगाच्या आनी तो सरपंच कोणूय येवं पंच कोणूय जावं तो लिडर ताका तें कांय डिफरन्स जायना सरपंच कोण जाता पंच कोण जाता तें कांय ना तो सांगत तो कायदो हेच जाला सो दीस हॅज टू बी टेकन व्हेरी सिरियसली कित्याक तांकां कॉमन केडर जालो तांकां ट्रान्सफर म्हणचें तांकांय कळपा जाय कितें जावपा जाय तें कितें काम तें तो घरूय आनी तेगे पंचायत एकूच जालो हे सो हेजेर मातशें सरकारान नोंद घेवची आनी हें कॉमन दे हॅव टू बी ट्रान्सफर्ड विथ अ सडन टायम हॅज टू बी टेकन बिकॉज कोण पॉलिटिकल इन्फ्लुएन्साचेर पॉलिटिकाचेर आपूण थिंगा रावताय सो हेजेर मातशें एक हें जावपाची कॉमन केडर जाला तो इम्प्लिमेंट करून तांकां जातलें बेगीन कोणाकूय कित्याक कामूय बरें जातलें लोकांली कामांय जातलें ना थिंग दादागिरी जाताय हेजेर मातशें एक सरकारान हेजेरूय विचार करचो. स्पिकर सांगते पासून पयलें नोंदरेर हाडा आमगे एक बेतूल आनी फातोरबाब हे पंचायत आमकां एक मातशें सारकी गरजे आहा स्पिकर सर कशेंय तरी करून आमकां एक दोनी मातशें आमकां कोन्न दिवची. स्पिकर सर वेन इट कम्स टू इंडस्ट्रीज आमगेल्या युरी बाबान सांगले ते भाशेन इंडस्ट्री तरी कुंकोळे आहाय तेजे सगळो धुंवर आनी पोल्युशन आनी ग्रावंड वॉटर पोल्यूट जाता आमगे केपेकारां गेले बिकॉज वी आर टचिंग आनी आंबावली अडणे हे सायडीन आमकां इतली त्रास जाताय की आमकां तेंगेली शेतां पांय घायले जाल्यार तांकां दे हॅव रेस्ट ऑन ऑल दियर बॉडी पांय हो जाणां कुसल्या लेगीत शेत पेडे जाले सो आमगे लोक केन्ना म्हणटा अरे इंडस्ट्री तेगे तूं आम कित्याक तेगेलो धुंवर आनी सगळें पोल्युशन हाचें सो आनी आय फील दॅट युरी बाबान सांगलें तशें दीस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट पोल्युटेड इंडस्ट्रीज इन इंडिया वॉट इज ही हॅज मेन्शन्ड सो कित्याक तेजेर एक्शन जायना आनी वाय इट शूड बी वेन दे आर मिंटींग मनी at the risk of people and लोकांगे हेल्थाचेर why we should neither his people from his constituency and mine also so हेजेर एक जॉयंट इन्स्पेक्शन जावन हेंकां सारके जाग्यार हाडपाची आज गरज आहा कित्याक हे आमचेर हे सगळे कोण निकोमेट आनी वेदांता हे सगळे आमचेर रावन गोंयकारांचे फायदे घेवन गोंयकारांक काबार करून हे आपण पयशे जोडटाय सो म्हाका दिसता हेजेर एक स्ट्रिक्ट एक्शन जावचें आनी हेजेर एक नोंद घेवची सरकारान. स्पिकर सर जेन्ना WRDचे येता तेन्ना एक इन्स्टंट हांव हाडपाक सोदतां बेतूल बिफोर इलेक्शन्स एक काम स्टार्ट जाल्लें जस्ट इन फ्रंट ऑफ द पंचायत आज इलेक्शन जालीं सगळें जालें आतां इलेक्शना फाटल्यान तें काम बंद आहा आनी एक एक्स पंच आहलें बाय द नेम रितीन म्हूण तिका नांव उलयत घेता तेगेले घरा वाटेन एक सायडीन रिटेनिंग वॉल काडलो WRDन एक वॉल काडल्या एक सायडीन जेन्ना हांव आमदार जालो हांव स्पेशली कॉन्ट्रॅक्टर हाडलो इंजिनियरा हाडलो आनी हें काम ताका स्टार्ट करपा आसलें वीच वॉज ही हॅड प्रॉमिस मी ऑन दॅट डे दॅट हील स्टार्ट द वर्क ऑन मंडे आनी हांव गेलो शुक्राराक आज 4 म्हयने जाले स्पिकर सर तो म्हाका सांगता तेन्ना हूंय म्हाका सांगलें फायल पास जालें एप्रूव जाला सगळें जाण आतां सांगता न्हू एडिशनल कित्याक एस्टिमेटा धाड म्हूण आतां पास भोंवन थिंगा स्पिकर सर ते पंचायतल्या घरां उदक वचोन तेगे आख्खें ओडोन गेलां स्पीकर सर असली राजकारण आणि पॉलिटिक्स असली कामां बरें जावचे न्हू बिकॉज जस्ट दॅट पंच वॉज सपोर्टिंग मी आज पासून तेगे तें काम पेंडींग आहा आय एम ब्रिंगिंग टू युअर नोटीस मिनिस्टर दॅट दीस वर्क इन बेतूल हे कॉन्ट्रॅक्टर हाडचो आनी विचारचें बाबा आज पासून कितें ना मुखार आमगे तें व्हडकार आमगे निस्तेकार भाव आहाय ओत काम तशें इनकम्प्लीट सोडा बिकॉज दे वर ऑन सम सायड सो म्हाका दिसता असली काम जावची न्हू आनी कोणालें काम तें राजकारण नासतना पॉलिटिक्स नासतना बरें जावचें आनी सगळ्यां पासत बरें करून हें सक्सेसफूल जावचें हें काम इन बेतूल थँक्यू स्पीकर सर
Speaker, sir, I rise to support the cut motions before the House. Speaker, sir, coming to cooperation. I think the time has come when the government should decide on common bylaws for all credit societies. Speaker, sir, today go to the villages. Why only villages? Go to the cities also. And wherever you go, you hear depositors crying that they've been cheated or they've lost their precious savings. To fill this vacuum, we have today multi-state cooperative banks or credit societies coming to the state. I wonder whether the government of Goa has granted the necessary permissions to each and every society or cooperative bank coming to do business in Goa. Speaker, sir, I have reliably learnt that these banks, these multi-state cooperative societies have to yearly submit annual reports like their profit and loss accounts, their balance sheets, assets and liabilities, etc. Are these being checked by the government of Goa, or are they just being received, acknowledgement stamped, and a formality has been complied? Speaker, sir, I would like to bring the plight of depositors just as an example of the visionary credit society that was based in Salset. Here, Speaker, sir, people have deposited their hard-earned money, and I tend to believe the main reason they've gone to these cooperative banks is because the depositor is an innocent man. Because he was earning 0.5% or 1% extra, he has gone to put his hard-earned savings in this society. It is surprising, Speaker, sir, to say that no audit was conducted by the Registrar of Cooperative Societies for a period of over 3 years. And therefore, I think it is the duty and the responsibility of this government to inquire and see why no audit was carried out to see the health of this particular credit society. Speaker, sir, because of the negligence on the part of the government, people continued depositing because they were not informed of the plight. And today, I know people who have lost crores of rupees, individuals who have sold property, but because of 0.5% or 1% deposited their money in these credit societies. I know that the Congress party had committed to the voters all over Goa that had the party to come to power, they would evolve a scheme wherein they would reimburse, I don't know the correct wording, but in my language it would be whoever had deposited principal amount of 5 lakhs and above, or whatever was the principal amount that was deposited below the 5 lakhs, the government would evolve a scheme to try and reimburse that to them. We have my friend Mr. Shirodkar as the Minister for Cooperation, and therefore I would request him to look into it and see whether his government can come out with a scheme. Politics aside, reason being to alleviate the sufferings of those people. I would also like to suggest to him that maybe in these credit societies, you come out with, I don't know if it fits in the laws, but come out with a limit as to how much one can deposit, an individual can deposit into these credit societies. Speaker, sir, coming to irrigation. Much before I became an MLA, the then irrigation department had acquired land which was supposed to be to extend the tributaries and bring the Salauli Canal right up to the village of Kansauli. Speaker, land was acquired, Speaker, sir, and maybe it was a blessing because bulk of that land has been used to construct the National Highway 66. After constructing this National Highway 66, the PWD also has acquired land to extend and join this National Highway 66 by acquiring land from Agnel Ashram to that junction. There is a lady by the name of Paulina Rodriguez. All she owns is 850 square meters. Her land has been acquired on both sides, one as far as the irrigation canal was concerned, and the other for the PWD to expand the National Highway 66. These 850 square meters are in your possession. The purpose for which this land was acquired, I think, has become history. She's been knocking on doors requesting the government to return her land because that is the only piece of land she has. She had a house on that property which has been shaved to half. So her plea, she is an old lady, she has no other source of income, she has nothing else. Her plea is whether you can return her piece of land which is of no use to you since you have abandoned the canal that side. Speaker, sir, after the recent rains, we have seen that whole area flooded. I believe and I request that you should, in right earnest, undertake desilting of the entire stretch. There's been a lot of vegetation that has grown over the years, and I think that is also causing a blockage to the free flow of water. Speaker, sir, I come now to a topic which all of us speak about, the Made River. Made is the lifeline of the state of Goa. Unfortunately, this lifeline is today severely crying for attention. It is dying not out of lack of water, but for the apathy of the state government. Speaker, sir, this government is on record to keep filing contempt petitions and challenging the tribunal awards before the Honorable Supreme Court. The way things are going, I believe, Speaker, sir, it is a mere eyewash to bluff the common man that the government is doing something. The leadership here has said nothing. But there are leaders in Karnataka, where we have a BJP government too, who speak on behalf of the government of Goa and say that the Karnataka government will abide by the orders of the Supreme Court. As a democratic and constitutional state, the state should prevail upon our Honorable Prime Minister to intervene, for in Goa we have a BJP government, in Karnataka we have a BJP government too. And therefore I am sure with the good offices of the Prime Minister, this issue can be solved to the satisfaction of us Goans. Speaker, sir, isn't this a mockery of the system that we cry here that the Made has to be protected, but on the other side, we contemptuously allow Karnataka to do whatever it likes and we only whimper that the matter is in the Supreme Court. I therefore appeal to the Honorable Minister, take a stand, fight for us Goans, protect the interest of Goa. Posterity will ever be so grateful to you. Speaker sir, coming to industries. The demand of industries right now is that, especially in Verna Industrial Estate, is that the fire department is demanding that each and every unit constructs a water tank for firefighting of the capacity of 50,000 to 1 lakh liters. Speaker sir, in the first place, each and every small-scale unit, if they have to construct these tanks, it takes its toll on their financial layouts. I therefore would appeal to the Minister to direct IDC to have a common tank, maybe of 5 lakh square meters, of 10 lakh square meters, sorry, I beg your pardon, of 5 lakh liters or 10 lakh liters, and have a common facility for all industry there, thus reducing the burden on the individual industry. Also, saving so much of water. Verna Industrial Estate has an acute water shortage. So, if we have a tank dedicated for this, a common facility, each and every unit would not have to store so much water. Please apply your mind and direct IDC. Speaker sir, the government of Goa, with great pomp, announced that Goa should be made a logistic hub. Till the year 2018, units that own land up to 2,000 square meters, few minutes, please. Units that own land up to 2,000 square meters and were 15 years and above were allowed to convert part of their land to change the land use to encourage these logistic hubs. But Speaker sir, in the year 2018, the Goa IDC transfer and sublease regulations of 2018 were introduced. And through this act, this facility was deleted. Therefore, either this government is again playing with the entrepreneur, or I do not know if this clause was deleted erroneously. I would again request the Minister to look into this and see that this clause is, that this facility is included in the act, amended act. Speaker sir, coming to panchayats. I am not going to talk about the OBC reservation fiasco because the whole morning, half of the morning session went on that particular point. Speaker sir, I have had personal experience with various levels within the Directorate of Panchayats. I demand that a system be evolved to ensure delivery of services such as NOCs, such as construction licenses, be issued within a stipulated time. Speaker sir, it is a shame to tell you that as an ex-minister, I was held to ransom by a particular village panchayat. I filed an appeal before the BDO. I had an order in my favor. They went in appeal to the additional director, or the director of panchayats. And there what did I see, Speaker sir? Not in my case, but in the other cases. Dates were given to innocent clients, innocent litigants. They came there, and before the case had even been taken up, the lawyers outside were in league, and outside itself they fixed a fresh date. That poor litigant had to pay his lawyer for coming to the court of the director, and yet he still had problems. I therefore request you evolve a system to come out with a time-bound system of delivering justice. This type of system delivers justice to nobody. Speaker, sir, coming to Kadamba Transport. With great pomp, this government announced in the introduction of electric buses. Speaker, sir, as per an answer given in the Assembly, it has been said that these buses have cost Kadamba Transport rupees 72 lakhs more than what the corporation would have spent to run diesel buses. Speaker, sir, we are talking of a clean environment, we are talking of this, we are talking of that. But I definitely believe when Kadamba Transport is running at a loss, this government has no right to increase its loss by bringing these electric buses. Number two, Speaker, sir, this service, this government says that they are sensitive to the wants of Goans. There are Goans who are unemployed, Speaker, sir. But all these electric buses are manned by drivers from outside Goa. I think this is injustice. I really wonder, I mean, we have a very dynamic chairman. Are we here to discourage employment of our Goans, or are we here to encourage employment coming from out? Last, Speaker, sir, I totally endorse what my colleague, Mrs. Jennifer Montserrat, said about the taxis, and therefore I believe the minister should relook into bringing app-run services like Ola and Uber. Thank you, Speaker, sir.
Shrimati Divyarani.
Speaker, sir, I rise to support the demands of the government and oppose the cut motion. I'll be speaking on demand 13, 19, 31 and 74. First, I would like to speak on industries. Honorable Minister, I feel there should be a policy in place to make it mandatory for industries which are availing subsidies from the government of Goa to employ local Goans. And I feel there should be a specific percentage of jobs that can be reserved for our Goan brothers and sisters. I know Honorable Minister has said that it's not practical to have a fixed percentage reservation for locals in private sector. But I feel if we are getting industries into Goa and if we are giving them all the subsidies, all the facilities, I feel we should have assurance from the industries when they set up their industries in industrial estates or in those particular constituencies. I feel there should be an assurance from the industries that when they set up those industries in that particular constituency, the local youth of that constituency will be given first preference in terms of employment. Because आमकां खबर आसा आतां employmenटाचो कितलो issue आसा, how many people, how many youth are unemployed, and we can't be just focusing on government jobs, and we have to think beyond the government jobs. When we bring in industrialization in Goa, into our industrial estates and industries into Goa, we have to think these are alternative measures because people over here, so many of our youth are unemployed, and they are ready. They don't say that when they come to us, they say, you give us good employment in good industries, we'll take it up. We are not dependent, we don't want only government jobs, but we want a fixed job. Because when they go to the industries, when they go to all these major industries, I have 2 industrial estates in my constituency, plus there are big multinationals in Uzgaon like Nestle, MRF, PNG, so many. But, and there are so many youth who are highly qualified, but jenna te industries ani vata, but they are given some excuse or the other saying that our employment happens from our head office or whatever, so we will look into it. So, I think there should be some policy from our Department of Industries to tell the industries who are there existing and who are going to set up new industries you have to give preference to the local youth, because that is how we can tackle unemployment, because we can't be dependent only on government jobs. कित्याक आमी आमचे तर भुरगे तर वयर सरपाक जाय जाल्यार आमकां ही सोय सुविधा तांकां दिवपाक जाय ह्या इंडस्ट्रीजांनी. इतले बरे बरे शिकिल्ले भुरगे आसा एंड देन दे गेट व्हेरी डिसअपॉयंटेड ते आनी आमचे कडेन येता की इतले शिकून फायदो कितें, आमकां तर ही संदी मेळना, आमी इंडस्ट्रीजांनी वता आनी थंय गेल्यार तर चडशे सगळे फक्त कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट बेजीस पोस्ट आसता. If they are highly qualified, they have to be employed and तांकां ते श्युरिटी आसपाक जाय की हो तुमकां फिक्स्ड जॉब मेळटलो म्हणून. कित्याक जशें म्हणून दॅट्स वाय दे गो फॉर दे जस्ट वॉन्ट गव्हर्मेंट जॉब्स बिकॉज तांकां खबर आसा हो फिक्स्ड जॉब म्हणून. पण इंडस्ट्री इफ दे कॅन अश्युअर देम दॅट वी वील गिव यू अ फिक्स्ड जॉब, youth are ready to go to the industries and work in private sector as well. Honorable Minister and हालींच म्हणिल्लें आसा की he is going to be implementing employment subsidy scheme 2017, which is going to which gives subsidies and reimbursement of 50% of salaries to micro small units and reimbursement of 25% of salaries to larger units who will employ Goans in their factories, and if the unit engages at least 60% of our youth. But म्हाका दिसता ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर की आतां आमी तर पळयल्यार म्हाका दिसता इवन 30% आनी 40% पसून ना दिसता म्हाका आमचे लोकल्स त्या इंडस्ट्रीजांनी काम करता. सो आय वूड रिक्वेस्ट ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर टू प्लीज लूक इन टू दीस अँड सी दॅट जे तुमी कितें म्हणलां, इफ दोज इंडस्ट्रीज आर अवेलिंग दोज सबसिडीज, इफ दे आर गोइंग टू गेट दोज रिएम्बर्समेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू द न्यू scheme which you are planning to implement, then hopefully our youth will get at least in Goa 60% of employment compulsorily from these industries. Ani I would like to ask Honorable Minister if we have 2 industrial estates and a lot of industries are interested in coming there, but म्हाका दिसता थंय there is not enough land available right now. There are no plots available in the IDC in Pisule and Honda. So if we can get, if any existing land is available adjoining, if IDC can take it over for new industries to come up in both these industrial sector. So, Honorable Minister, I would really request you to please consider my suggestions for the unemployed youth of Goa. Secondly, I would like to talk on transport. आमकां सगळ्यांक खबर आसा आनी दिस हॅपन्स इन एवरी म्हाका दिसता कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सी. सद्या कदंबा ट्रान्सपोर्टाचे सर्विसीस खूबच इरेग्युलर आसा आनी थोड्या सेक्टरांनी खंयच ना. म्हजे कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सी इट्स अ रुरल एरिया. सो इन दीस रुरल एरिया आवर पीपल आर टोटली सामके डिपेंडंट ऑन बसी बिकॉज पीपल गो टू वर्क एवरी डे टू पॅन्जिम, वास्को, wherever Margao, and school students go. So students from half my in my constituency, half my panchayat students have to walk almost 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers. Kirak buses na. There is like a waiting period of almost 7 hours for buses. थोडे पंचायतींनी एक पंचायतीन म्हणजे मोर्ले जी पंचायत आसा थंय बस सर्वीस आशिल्ली कदंबाची जी मोर्ले टू पणजी वताली इन द मॉर्निंग एंड इवनिंग, पण ही बस सर्वीस स्टॉप जाल्या. तशे बाकीचे म्हजे कितलेशे रूट्स आसा विच डिटेल्स आय विल हँड ओवर टू ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर बिकॉज आय डोंट वॉन्ट टू गेट इन टू द, बट इतले म्हणजे प्रत्येक पंचायतीन आसा, बिरोंडा म्हणा, केरी म्हणा, होणा म्हणा, ठाणे, एवरी पंचायत इज कवर्ड वेर देर इज लॅक ऑफ बसीस आनी भुरग्यांक इतले सफर जाता. आनी जेन्ना आमी हे प्रपोजल तुमच्या डिपार्टमेंटान घाल्लें टू ऑनरेबल KTCL चेअरमॅनाकूय घाल्लें, आमकां रिप्लाय आयलें की बिकॉज ऑफ नॉन अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ फंड्स नवे बसीस प्रोक्योर जावना. लास्ट 2 वर्सां आमी बिकॉज ऑफ कोवीड देर हॅव बीन इश्यूज, बसीस स्टॉप जाल्ल्यो, प्रायवेट बसीस स्टॉप जाल्ल्यो. बट इफ योर डिपार्टमेंट कॅन वर्क आउट something even with the private buses आनी so that हे जे पळय भुरग्यांक त्रास जाता बसीचो, कित्याक ते सामके टोटली अवलंबून आसता ह्या बस सर्विसीसाच्या. आमचे लोक आमच्या ग्रामीण भागांत टोटली डिपेंडंट ऑन बस सर्वीस. सो जेन्ना हे बसीस तांकां थंय मेळना, तांकां इतले वरां चलून वचचें पडटा, 5 किलोमिटर चलून वचचें पडटा. Otherwise, parents have to go and drop them at a particular point, but which is not पॉसिबल फॉर एवरीबडी, कित्याक ग्रामीण भाग म्हणटकच खूब त्रास जाता आमच्या लोकांक. सो लोक घरा लेट पावता, सकाळीं उठून वचचें पडटा, भुरग्यांक कितले त्रास जाता. सो मागता की इनफ फंड्स आर अवेलेबल विथ द KTCL टू प्रोक्युअर न्यू बसीस, आनी ही जी बेसीक नेसेसिटी आसा आमच्या भुरग्यांची, आमच्या ग्रामीण भागाची, दिस वील बी मेट बाय एन हो इशू सॉल्व जातलो. ॲट द सेम टायम there is shortage of manpower also in the buses, drivers mana, conductors mana, cleaners mana. Hopefully all this will be also taken care of. आमचो जो Honda bus stand asa, it is in a very dilapidated state. Severe leakage problem जाल्या सद्या, शॉपकीपर्सांक, कम्युटर्सांक खूब प्रॉब्लम जाला सद्या. They have shopkeepers, सगळे लोक are keeping on complaining that maintenance repair work जावना अजें, and by the GSIDC and Director of Transport. So I request Honorable Minister to please look into this. आणि आमकां परत जेन्ना आमी नोट घाली तेन्ना again because of lack of funds म्हणून हें आयलां. So I request की हे आमच्या लोकांक थंय इतले त्रास जाता. हांव मागता Honorable Ministera कडेन की तुमी please repair and maintenance of the Honda bus stand please on priority please घेयात. दुसरें आसा म्हणजे पंचायतीचें. म्हजी केरी जी पंचायत आसा, वन ऑफ माय बिगेस्ट पंचायत, थंय एकच ही बिल्डींग आतां केरी पंचायतीची पंचायत घर, ही बिल्डींग अंडर दीन दयाल पंचायत राज इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेव्हलपमेंट स्कीम 2013 घेतिल्ली, आनी दीस इज बीन पेंडींग फॉर मेनी इयर्स. रेग्युलर फॉलोअप्स जाल्यार पासून फ्रॉम बोथ द डिपार्टमेंट, फ्रॉम GSIDC एंड पंचायत ऑल्सो, वर्क ऑर्डर हेज स्टील नॉट बीन इश्यूड. कित्याक प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट जो आसा तो इट हॅज गॉन अप बाय अ फ्यू लॅक्स. आनी आय थिंक द डिपार्टमेंट्स हॅव टोल्ड द लोकल पंचायत की तुमी मातशे पयशे घालात आनी हें करात, बट द केरी पंचायत डजंट हॅव दॅट फंड टू पुट इन मनी टू कंप्लीट द बिल्डींग. सो आय रिक्वेस्ट Honorable Minister to please look into it. आणि ही जी लॉंग पेंडिंग इतले वर्सांचो जो डिमांड आसा हो एक पंचायत बिल्डींग आमच्या केरी पंचायतीची, टू प्लीज लुक इनटू इट अँड टेक इट अप ऑन प्रायोरिटी इमिजिएटली. कित्याक आनी दुसरें म्हणटा ते आमचे गव्हर्मेंट जे सँक्शन करतात तुमच्या डिपार्टमेंटाचे ग्रांट इन एड अंडर डायरेक्टर ऑफ पंचायत फॉर फायनान्शियली विकर पंचायत्स. आमचे खुबश्यो पंचायतीन 70 तालुका आमकां ह्यो सँक्शन ऑर्डर मेळिल्ल्यो आसा अंडर ग्रांट इन एड, पण फंड्स अजून रिलीज जाल्ले ना. सो मागता हांव तुमच्या डिपार्टमेंटा कडल्यान की हे प्लीज ग्रांट इन फंड्स आमकां आमच्या पंचायतीक प्लीज पावयात, सो दॅट डेव्हलपमेंटल धाकटी जी डेव्हलपमेंटल वर्क्स आसा विच पंचायत कॅन टेक दॅट कॅन बी कॅरीड आउट विदाउट एनी फर्दर डिले. आय रिक्वेस्ट ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर for industries, transport and panchayat to please look into all these demands. Thank you, Minister. Majo demand number 74 asa of Honorable Water Resources Minister. Maji ji constituency asa, it's a hilly area, forest area, khub rainfall jata. Amcho edo wallo dam asa thai which is called Anjune Dam. It supplies water to whole Bicholi taluka and onwards and half of North Goa म्हणटा तशें. पूण म्हजे कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सी जे लोक आसा they are suffering from lack of water. It is such a sad situation की आमची येदी व्हडली म्हादय रिवर आसा, बालवंती रिवर आसा, पूण आमच्याच लोकांक उदक मेळना थंय. येदो व्हडलो वॉटर ट्रिटमेंट प्लांट आसा पोडोशाचो 40 MLD, पूण त्या प्लांटाचें उदक आमच्या लोकांक मेळना. सो आमचे जे लोक विलेजीस आसा, होणा म्हणा, पिसुले, परये, बोंडले, तांकां एक दिसाक 2 वरांचे पसून उदक मेळना. एट द सेम टायम पंचायत थाणे, मावशी, बिरोंडा आसा ती दे आर ऑन द बँक्स ऑफ रिवर मादय and they are dependent on the Dabos treatment plant which is in Walpoy. So थंय बी हो सेम इश्यू आसा उदकाचो, आनी इट इज अ रियली सॅड सिच्युएशन की इतलें उदक आसून, येदो व्हडलो डॅम आसून पसून आमच्या लोकांक उदक मेळना. सो आय रिक्वेस्ट ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर की तुम्ही एक आय रिक्वेस्ट की 15 mld रॉ वॉटर तर तुम्ही आमचे वालवंती रिवरांचे तर प्रोवायड केले आणि यू प्रोवायड अ लँड ऑल्सो फॉर सेटिंग अप अ वॉटर ट्रिटमेंट प्लांट एट मोर्लें. आमची जी उदकाचो इशू आसा आमच्या ह्या 4-5 पंचायतीक विच इज मोर्लें, परये, केरी हो सगळो प्लस पिसुल्ले होंडा हो सगळो सॉल्व जातलो. कित्याक पिसुल्ले होंडा ही 2 इंडस्ट्रियल इस्टेट्स आसा आनी ह्या कारणां खातीर खूब थंय उदकाचो इशू आसा. सो द इंडस्ट्रीज देर आर ऑलवेज कंप्लेनिंग अबाउट लॅक ऑफ वॉटर. सो ती तर आनी तर नव्यो इंडस्ट्रीज येवपाक जाय, त्यो तर एक्झिस्टींग इंडस्ट्रीज तर थंय उरपाक जाय जाल्यार दिसान दीस आमी पळयता पॉप्युलेशन वाडटा, लोक वाडटात, घरां वाडल्या. सो पूण आमचो जो उदकाचो इशू आसा तो थंयच्या थंयच आसा कित्याक नवो वॉटर ट्रिटमेंट प्लांट आमकां आयिल्लो ना. सो मागता की तुमी तर हें आमकां प्रोवायड केलें आनी तुमी तर हे परमिशन दिले तर फाल्यां मागीर PWD कॅन गो हेड एंड गेट द वॉटर ट्रिटमेंट प्लांट फॉर अस. एट द सेम टायम तर तुमी 15 mld रॉ वॉटर दाबोस तर आमकां दिलें फ्रॉम म्हादय. थंय हो एडिशनल 15 mld वॉटर ट्रिटमेंट प्लांट जातलो दाबोस विच इज पार्ट ऑफ वाळपय म्युनिसिपालिटी. आनी हांगच्यान लॉट्स ऑफ पंचायत्स ऑफ वाळपय आनी आमचे पोरये पंचायती बी थाणे आनी मावशी which they don't have any other source कित्याक थंय रिवर्स बी ना, तांकां सोर्स ऑफ वॉटर ना. दे आर टोटली डिपेंडंट ऑन दीस दाबोस प्लांट. तुमी तर हांगा हे एडिशनल 15 mld raw water तर दिले. Land has already been provided by Honorable ex-CM Mr. Pratap Singh Rane. थंय दाबोस ऑलरेडी दिल्ले आसा आनी फॉर एडिशनल लँड पसून तांणी दे हॅव अग्रीड टू गिव एडिशनल लँड फॉर एडिशनल वॉटर ट्रिटमेंट प्लांट. आय रिक्वेस्ट ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर की वी जस्ट नीड raw water from y'all and if you help us to start these 2 new water treatment plants in our constituency. हे जे मेजर आमचे उदकाचो जो इशू आसा आमच्या कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीन